not going to be there.
No.
I just having a feeling. Yeah, I'll move whatever you did there.
15 to number 8.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, 15 to 8. Yep, I got that. Okay, so I got this one.
There's a pencil.
Just got my finger over this. Okay. Stephanie tonight. What did these do?
She's on vacation.
Yes. No, I don't. Sorry, I don't really know the name.
Okay, I'll set that right there. Yeah. That was a Stephanie project. Jules is standing because it's 7:01, I think. 7 o'clock. Jules is just not going to sit down. Can you shut your phones off? 7:01, I call speed order. Please stand for pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
From here on out, I'm not going to call the pledge allegiance until all the flags are set right. Somebody turn that around. Free word. Okay, I'm looking next time. Okay, roll call. All members present. Additions, corrections, or deletions to the agenda. This is the agenda that I have. And staff, go first.
Mr. Mayor and council members, we have a closed session scheduled for number 15. That's no longer needed. If the council wishes, we could, I could give a few about the land purchase being considered to the project, if you will.
Okay,
And
so
we put that under number 8.
under number 8. Okay, so number 15, we're going to scratch, put a line through it. And then in number 8, we're going to go 8.6. Right? 8.6.
Sure. Okay.
8.6 land purchase. Okay. And then any other changes on the staff side? I have a 4.4. 4.4 is Councilor Gerold, public statement. Okay. Any other changes from staff? Any other changes from council? Nope. Take a motion to approve this agenda that I amended. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Consideration of the city council meeting minutes of 3.1 regular meeting minutes of January 23rd, 2020. 3.2 study session meeting minutes of February 6th, 2020. Wishes of the council to approve them both or individually?
I'll move to approve both minutes, regular and study session minutes.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Number 4, consent agenda. Permits, licenses. I'll go with just number 1 here. A permit for Mr. Diffuse, Custom Remodelers. That our compost is doing
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the party's fine to get a permit for you.
Okay, so I'll keep reading them down then. Number B, TNT Fireworks for retail sale permit for Walmart parking lot 6/15/20 through 7/9/20. And then C, Sherburne County Historical Society gambling permit for raffle to be held at the Pizza Pub. We don't have a date. But wishes of the council. Or could you elaborate the date on the permit for that?
It is
Approve all 3 of you.
April 4th.
April 4th, 2020.
Yes.
Okay, wishes of the council to approve individual or do all 3 at the same time?
All 3, do all 3, I make a motion to approve all 3.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion?
It's nice to see that we're looking towards summer. It really is. Isn't that great? I see July and June. Okay.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Number 4.2, none. 4.3, donations and designations. Doing these individually. Individually? Do them all. Okay, so I'm going to read them all. Resolution 2010, donations from Walmart, First Bank, Quick Trip for Rock in the Rum River. Letter B, Resolution 2011, donation from Twice New Clothing Center for Flower Project. Number C, Resolution 2012, donation for service to West Contracting for the Riverside Pier. Letter D, Resolution 2013, donation from East Central Energy for the Riverside Park Project. Letter E, Resolution 2014, donation to the Airport Commission to pay. Oh, this is it's Airport Commissioner, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's commission. Okay, donation of the Airport Commissioner's pay to the Airport Board, Mr. Berry.
To the airport.
To the airport, yes. Okay, wishes of the council to approve all 5.
I move to approve
Or whichever.
A, B, C, D, and E.
Got it. I
4.3.
have a motion for that. Do I have a second? I have a motion. I have a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. 4.4, Councilor Gerold has a statement.
Liaison due to my business management experience, knowledge, training, professionalism, and positive attitude. I had previously sat on the hiring board for the new GM. If I am good enough and trusted to be the board liaison in a 5 voting member. Council, please remember, you unanimously voted for me to be the liaison. Good enough to you and you are not interested in my vote? My votes are obviously valuable and trusted by every resident and taxpayer of the city of Princeton that voted for me to be a council member. We have all been voting for ourselves to be on all of the boards and commissions for Princeton. This has been going on with the city council for decades. Jules recently voted for himself to represent the city with the Park Board and Chamber of Commerce. Jeff recently voted for himself to represent the city with the Planning Commission. Brad recently voted for himself to represent the city with the Airport Board, EDA, Cable Commission, and Housing Redevelopment Authority. Jack recently voted for himself to represent the city with the EDA and Historical Society. I recently voted for myself to represent the city with the Fire Advisory Board and the PUC. Why is this time any different? If this is a conflict of interest, why hasn't it been brought up previously? Minnesota state statute allows for one city council member to serve on the board. How can this then be considered a conflict of interest? Is the Minnesota state statute wrong? I have never been in direct opposition of the PUC, nor do I have any such desire to disband or shut it down. I have no personal agenda other than to have all involved get along and be professionally cohesive. In my opinion and others that I've spoken to, this is a very good step in accomplishing that goal. I do not appreciate the accusation of simply being a follower. Anybody that knows me knows that that statement I never in my professional career if that had been my MO. And I will not refer to bullying or false accusations, as that would be dirty politics. Since being elected, I have always taken the approach of determining the interest of every single and every vote, and I will continue to do just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gerold. Okay. Moving on. Time for open forum. This is time to come forward, speak to the city council on behalf of yourself. If you're already on the agenda, do not come forward for number 5. If you come forward, please state your name and address for the record, and we'll hear what you have to say.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Schwartz, lifetime member of Princeton. My concern tonight is not necessarily I just explained, I don't have any problem with Jenny at all. I don't have any problem with any of you. My question is, why wasn't protocol for followed? That's my question. And I believe all of you have received my email with those concerns. That's really all I'm after. Why wasn't protocol applied 9 or 10 months ago? We went through a very deep process, vetting process, interview with a separate committee. Why wasn't that done again? When Greg was applied to and succeeded for a 3-year term, running against him. But still an application process was taken care of. Why not this time? Why was a decision made on a study session and not city council? This an answer to me. Bob, you called, we talked. Brad, you said you had my email. We didn't speak. Everyone else confirmed, I believe. So your votes I don't have a problem with, the other ones I do, because it's not giving anyone a chance to apply, and that's shutting the people out. So I would ask that this be reopened and applications accepted, as I have already submitted mine. Please consider that and let me know when it is open. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and council members, if I could just state, it is the council's prerogative on how it is they want to decide to appoint somebody and to decide to appoint. It's up to the full council that determines as they're related to it. Mr. Schwartz.
Okay.
Any comment?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was just calling for the form, make sure everybody knew it's still open.
What Mr. Schwartz had just said there, and maybe I want to clarify my vote, why I voted no. And maybe Councilor Gerold is kind of different than maybe what you think or why I voted it, but I'll go back to when we had about 4 people on the park board and we're supposed to have 7. I was the council liaison. I came to the council and I asked the council, would you be opposed to me being a voting member on the park board so we can have a quorum, so we can have meetings? Council put me on the park board. The following year, by golly, we had 2 positions open and 4 people applied. We had people applying. I felt it was appropriate at that time for me to step down from the park board to allow other people to participate in city government. So Councilor Gerold, that's the primary reason. The PUC Commission applications, what did we have last time, 5? Anybody, 5?
Yeah, I think they're only five.
So my thought was, we are eliminating the chance for public to participate in city government, to be involved in government. By, when things are going on, we tell people, well, run for office, get involved. Apply for a board, apply for a commission. We've got people that want to apply. And it's being taken by a council member. So that's why I voted, the primary reason why I voted no. So I agree with you, Mr. Schwartz.
Thank you.
And I would just echo pretty much everything that Constable Gerold said. It's not about Commissioner Gerold or Commissioner Gerold or anybody. Could have applied. We did not go through the proper process that we've been doing, I'm going to guess, probably since 1911. I don't know that for a fact, but it's just the process that bothers me. Jules pretty much said it, I guess, but I mean, it's the process, and I really think we should have followed our procedure, did not just drop it out of the sky at a work session, catching me for sure flat-footed. The times that it got, that would have probably been the end, but I was dumbfounded, to be honest with you. I did not see that coming. So. That's my opinion.
I'm going to piggyback off what Councilor Edmonds said. Open forum is still open. The process for the city council is to provide seamless leadership for this city. Nobody had a whisper or a process to go. I explained this to the newspaper editor and a response back. This city council's job is to provide seamless leadership for the residents of this community. And we have to do that. Sometimes you have to make a decision to slide someone into a leadership role who already has the leadership role so that they can continue out a term for someone who resigned. The resignation was not given to us where we were able to know that it was coming because someone was moving or know that they were going to do that. And with us not knowing, we made a decision to have seamless leadership for the residents of our community, and that's what we're going to deliver. The politics of the state of Minnesota and the federal government do not have a place here. People are tired of that stuff. You elected us to make a seamless transition in leadership, and that's what we're going to deliver. Open forum is still open. If there's anyone else who wants to come forward.
Can I address your comment, Mr. Mayor?
Do you want to address them here or do you want to stand up there?
As a compliment.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Going back to the previous appointment, my recollection of your position was you were giving Counselor Zimmer just accolades to no end because we had an application process. We actually had a team. I think there was about 6 members, and you couldn't say enough good about it. What's the difference between that application or that resignation and this one?
Thank you, great comment.
I'd like to make a comment.
Oh, okay.
Council as well. In response to your comment, Jack, I remember back when Henry Fendel resigned his position, and you at that meeting immediately wanted to appoint Paul Whitcomb, who was a previous applicant from the previous time. You wanted to just make a quick decision and nominate Paul Whitcomb and not go through the application process again. And at that point, we decided that we did want to go through the application.
But he did have an application in. No, I don't want to turn this into a...
No, I don't either. I'm just responding to your comment.
I would like to continue this.
All right.
Thank you. If all of you read my email,
I did.
perfect.
And I replied back to you too.
That you received it.
Yes.
There was no content in communication.
I figured you were going to come here and we could talk about it in public.
We are right now.
I know.
I know. So here's the point here. I wanted to be an appointed PCU commissioner right away for the 6 months. I would take that. I said, why are we going through all of this? Okay? No, we are going to go through the application process. We're going to have interviews, we're going to do that. I was flat turned down that we are not going to go through the appointment process. And here we are, we did. Now, my application was in within a couple of hours after the resignation was turned in. I don't know how you can turn your back on that.
Oh, I'm not turning my back on anything, but I do appreciate that he fixes for me. I do appreciate it. Like I said, we're going to deliver seamless leadership. And we have, in my opinion, there's a very crucial amount of time that we have a lot to get done at the PUC. And we can't have a 2-person board. We need it to be a 3-person board. And we're going to get that process delivered.
You can get this done in less than 2 weeks. I mean, we wasted a week already.
No one wastes any time because it's all taken care of. But I do
No,
appreciate
I'm
it.
asking it to be reopened. I asked for answers and I haven't gotten any. So my statement is still there. I'm asking that to be reopened and to be handled the way that it was handled all this other times. Period. I'm requesting that to be in the minutes, and I want that to be heard by everyone and understood. The seamless defines what? You go through the
Seamless means that
application
we have no
process
gap,
and
no,
you still
seamless
have the
means-
ability to work with each other with 2 commissioners. You can still get things done.
I
That's
appreciate-
why we went through this application
I
process.
appreciate your comment. The people of this community elected us to give them seamless leadership through the process, and that's what we delivered to them.
And to do it properly, through application.
Properly has been explained. Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Public forum. Anyone else want to come speak? City Council, public forum is still open.
Tim Circus, 218 11th Avenue South. So I have some questions for Jenny. On January 7th, you said you abstained from voting for a conflict due to your husband on the fire department, well, when you're on the fire board. And then, but you felt it was okay to vote for the budget, which includes budget for the department your husband is in charge of, and also pay increases, which your husband would receive, but you didn't abstain from that vote. And then now on February 6th, again, after the city attorney had said that it wasn't in your best interest to vote for yourself because of a conflict, you did it anyway. Why do you feel those are okay?
The pay increase is completely different. That would benefit me financially.
Yeah.
As far as voting for budget items, there's nothing wrong with me voting for things that are in the budget. Am I correct, Damien?
That's correct, and with all due respect, I think that was a slight misstatement of what I said at the last meeting. I didn't say it was a conflict for her to vote for herself. I said best practices are for council members or any elected official to not vote, participate in the decision-making process. But I did not say it was a conflict. That's not my position. That's not my place to make that determination.
It said, Tobin stated that Councilor Gerold should refrain from voting as it could be considered a conflict of interest. That's in the minutes.
Yeah, and I'm telling you that what I said was it's best practices for an elected official to not participate in the decision-making process.
And so how come,
That's my position. That's what
that's
I'm
fine.
telling
So
you.
how come you went against the city attorney on that
Again,
recommendation?
no, thank you for your comment. We didn't go against the city attorney.
That
Best
was his
practices in law.
recommendation.
No, best practices in the law are 2 separate things.
Okay, so my next question is for Jeff Reynolds. On February 6th, you had stated that you would like to see the PUC position advertised. Then after the discussion, you voted for Jenny Gerold after the city attorney had just told the council that should not vote for herself, which I guess that was a little different wording, but why would you have voted for her if that is not the position you had wanted, and why would you have not gone with the city attorney's recommendation for her and said no to vote her in, knowing her voting was
We did
questionable?
have the applicants on file from the last time when everybody applied, so that was still taken into consideration. That solution was presented, and I thought it was an excellent solution. By that vote.
Open forum is still open. Thank you for coming forward, newspaper editor.
Tim Henniger, Managing Editor, Union Times. Previously, tonight, you approved the study session meeting minutes, correct, Your Honor?
I'll just shake my head, yes.
No, please, they can't. Yes or no? Were they approved?
They just were.
Okay. Then shouldn't the meeting minutes have not been approved or been amended to reflect what the city attorney just told us about his misstatement? So what do we have here with the meeting minutes now? If you were incorrectly, city attorney, what you said was incorrectly put in the meeting minutes, now do we have a conflict with the meeting minutes, or do they need to be revised? Or how does your statement stand? Does your statement rectify anything that's in the meeting minutes?
I didn't review the meeting minutes. If there is an incorrect statement in the meeting minutes, the city council can move to amend the meeting minutes. What I'm telling you as the attorney is, number one, best practices for an elected official from the League of Minnesota Cities.
Okay, thank you, that's what I was going to ask.
Yes, is that
Okay.
they should not participate in the decision-making process of their own appointment to a non-elected position. That is best practices. There is no statute, there is no case, there is no attorney general opinion that says this action is a per se conflict of interest. That is an analysis that the elected official needs to undergo themselves. That is my position. That is the position of the League of Minnesota Cities.
And Administrator Barbie, and that handbook is typically available, reviewed by the city. It's been reviewed. It usually gets reviewed initial meeting of the year, correct?
I don't know if we did. There is a training series of slides that we do review, but I don't know that that particular element came up.
Okay.
I'll clarify your question. When you become an elected official, you get the handbook. It's inside the packet that you get when you go from counselor or mayor to the next one, to the next one. There's a packet you get.
Right. Okay. Next question. I'm going to try to keep these short. I only have two more. Were the PUC general manager and the PUC commissioners notified of the February 6th decision made by the city council regarding Councilor Gerold's interim appointment? If so, when and how?
That'd be for the city clerk.
City clerk?
I think we were kind of dealing, we got emails and stuff, so I kind of left it up to Bob to let Keith
I don't know
know.
that we gave any official notice to the PUC. I don't recall.
Next question.
Next question. When was this February 13th city council meeting packet mailed to the PUC general manager and PUC commissioners?
The study session?
No, the 13th packet, this
Oh,
packet.
it goes out on Tuesday.
Tuesday afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. And that's when they would have received it? Okay.
Since it's the commissioners included on that mail?
It's the same mailing address that I always use. To see who entails.
Okay, final point. City Administrator Barbian, City Clerk, council members, in front of you, you have an email that the mayor sent to me, to the City Clerk and the City Administrator. Mayor responding to a inquiry I had made by a text, and he responded by email, and it was CC'd by the clerk to the City Council, so I'm assuming all of you got that email, but I put it out in front of you so you have a print copy of it. I just have one question. Mayor, in this you mentioned that the council acted to appoint Council Gerold based on three important facts.
Yes.
And they're there. One of them, and I can just read it, the council appointed Councilor Gerold as the City Council's liaison to the PUC on a 5-0 vote. That's one. Council Gerold did a fantastic job reporting what happened at the past PUC meeting with Administrator Barbian. That's two.
Yep.
The third one, constituents that you, the mayor, talked to in recent weeks are sick and tired of government dysfunction. Now, here's where I want you to clarify something for me. These are national or federal issues. Articles of impeachment to Speaker Pelosi ripping up the State of the Union speech, to an Oscar-winning Senate trial with no witnesses in the Iowa caucuses, were a national embarrassment to start off the 2020 presidential election. What do these things, if it's constituents you're talking to, but you said that there was a city council acting, I'm a little confused. How do national issues tie to local? Are constituents really that concerned that a national issue is going to affect a PUC commissioner selection?
No, what they're asking for in the clarification, and maybe you should send out a little questionnaire in your newspaper. People in the community have said, and they've been saying it for a long time, they're tired of the gridlock in the federal government and in the state government, and they want to see seamless leadership, be able to get the job done. How about we focus at city council level to focus on roads, jobs, development, affordable housing, all of these items that are essential for our community. These exact same items should be what the state level focuses on as well as the federal level. And instead, you've got a bunch of gridlock where you don't get those things delivered. And if you want to know what the number one thing is that the constituents I talk to are concerned with, it's healthcare. It's the healthcare debacle of where we're going to end up and how much it's going to cost. And so what I'm saying to you is I don't want this city council to participate in the chaos at the state and the federal level over a PUC appointment. It's not worth the headache, it's not worth the problem, because we, the 2020 City Council, are better than that. And we are going to deliver seamless leadership for the citizens of Princeton. Again, focusing on jobs, roads, affordable housing, and making seamless leadership decisions.
Final question. How badly is city government gridlocked in Princeton? Because
I'll answer that. You just look at the record. We have a lot of 3-2 votes. Sometimes we've got 4-1 votes. And sometimes there are 5-0. But you'll have to take a survey of the different city governments and see how many of them are getting voted 3-2 on items and how many of them are all going 5-0. That's a decision for you to make if you want to do the research.
okay. Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Thank you. Open forum is still open. It's time for someone to come forward and speak to the city council regarding any items that are not on the agenda. If you are on the agenda, please wait until we call you at that time.
I'm Maureen Gould, resident, retired, a former applicant for the PUC. And my only question is, I don't question Jenny's qualifications at all. I agree that you had candidates that you interviewed, that you didn't choose, and I don't, something that came up many times in a couple of council meetings I went to before wasn't seamless government, it was transparency. And that is my only point. There really was no transparency at all here. And I honestly feel that I would not be interested in that position. My mother passed away, so I'm not tied like I was before. And so I would not apply, but I think you really need to look at the applicants that were there before. And I don't think that, I can't remember how many weeks it took last time, but it was over a month.
I know.
So I think you should take that into consideration.
Thank you for coming in. Open forum is still open. Anyone else want to come forward and speak to the city council? Let it be noted, no one got up. Okay. Moving on. Number 6, public hearings, none. Number 7, presentations, none. Number 8, 8.1, Mille Historical Society meeting minutes. Any questions from the council? 8.2, Park Board meeting minutes, January 27th, 2020. Any questions or comments from the council? 8.3, marijuana regulations, attorney research information, update.
But it's an email if you have any questions. Basically, there was the issue of recreational marijuana possibly becoming legalized, and the council wanted to have some information. I contacted the League of Minnesota Cities and spoke with the liaison on the political side to get a sense of what's been going on. The information's in the email with respect to the issue of recreational marijuana. They believe that nothing is going to get passed this term based on the divide between the House and the Senate. There may be something submitted to the House this term, and then depending on what happens the next cycle, it might go to the Senate. With respect to regulation, we really have no idea to what extent we can regulate unless and until such legislation is passed. General sense at this point in time from the league is that there's going to be more of a push for regulation at the state level and not giving local government a great deal of authority to regulate and opt out. Mostly treating it like alcohol, tobacco, adult uses, regulating it in a kind of a zoning aspect, distance regulations from facilities, things like that. But the league is obviously advocating for greater local control, and as the matter progresses through the legislature, they'll keep us posted, and as legislation is created and ultimately passed, if it's passed, we'll have a much better sense of what we can do at that point in time, but nothing's on the near horizon.
Could I ask a question over here?
Sure.
When you did talk to the liaison of League of Minnesota Cities, were you the first to inquire, or did it kind of seem like they had quite a few people inquiring?
No, they've had people. She made it clear that this was not a surprise call.
Okay.
Like, she's had conversations with other cities, community leaders. I mean, this is the city is doing what other cities is doing. It's just trying to be proactive and preparing itself for what may come.
Okay. Anything else from the council on 8.3? Thank you, Damien. Thank you, staff, for working on that. 8.4, Planning Commission minutes of January 27th. Questions from the council? 8.5, Airport Advisory Board meeting minutes, January 6th. Questions from the council? 8.6, land purchase, Administrator Barbian.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Just as many of you have noticed that there's been a couple of closed sessions regarding the consideration by the city to purchase some property. And I just wanted to provide what information we can provide in an effort for transparency, actually. The land that's being considered is behind Aero Business Park. It might be referred to as a Marshall property at times. It's part of their farm, the Marshall Farm. There's 42 acres there that are being considered. And the land is being considered to be used for industrial purposes. What it would do is the land purchase would provide the city of Princeton fully improved large lots. The lots would have sewer, water, and roads because you'd be able to use 21st Avenue. So you'd be able to have 5, 10, 20 acre site right off the bat. That's some advantage because of its location. Oftentimes these are referred to as shovel-ready sites or certified sites, and again, they would be for industrial purposes. City will be considering a number of options up for the land. I have one concept that I can share with the press if you're interested. I could hold it up, but I'm sure nobody will probably be able to see it that well. Just basically lays out a number of industrial sites. And like I said, we'll be looking at a number of options, looking at various grants that may be available for infrastructure to cover items like sewer, water, and roads, as well as if there's interested companies that wish to talk to the city, please call. Great sites, reasonable terms. We'll be working over the coming months to finalize a purchase agreement if the city decides to pursue that. That's what I have. And Tim, if you'd like the picture I have, you can have it.
Anything else from the council?
Quick follow-up, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to commend the council and the mayor for the very appropriate handling of open and closed meeting throughout that entire process. It was crystal clear, it was transparent, the before and the opening statements to get in and out of those meetings. A lot of times people don't understand why you have to close a meeting when you're doing property negotiations, and a lot of times you just go into it. In the 30 years I've been doing this, I've never seen a council be that precise going in and out of a public closing a meeting. So hats off to you.
Thank you. I'm actually going to deflect some of that. Congratulations to our city attorney, who has also really helped and made sure that that process stays transparent and open to the public. Just so you guys want to add on to Damien doing that really great job for us too. Thank you. Council 8.6, anything else in 8.6? Number 9, petitions, requests, none. Ordinances, and 10, none. Unfinished business. This is one we've been waiting for. 11.1, the appointment to the HR board with the application. Clerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I sent another letter, and she did respond with her application that she would be interested in serving another term.
Wishes of the council to approve 11.1. I got a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion? I have one. When will the term start and when will it end? If it was in here, I might have missed it, but because there's been like a little gap of time, I just wanted to kind of
I think
clarify
she's
that.
continued to go to the meeting, so she would just, it would finish the 12/31. I think this is a 5-year. I'd have to double check, so.
On your motion and second, any questions or concerns on that? Any other questions? I got a motion and a second, I got further discussion. Is there any other further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, 11.2, local fire department fire compensation rates, page 33 of the agenda, the packet, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is a follow-up to the request you asked for at the last council meeting for a comparison of what nearby fire departments are paying their firefighters. A couple fire departments that are the same size as us. I guess with your permission, I'll be working with the finance director. Hopefully we'll have something to present for you on budget time as to a increase that we can do or a continuous, more responsive one.
Thank you for, I'll go first. Thank you for putting this together for us. It gives us a greater advantage in firefighter retention. Firefighter retention throughout our state and in our community and the surrounding communities has been difficult at times. And as the mayor, I want to make sure we're competitive in that process so we don't end up in a firefighter retention problem coming into the future.
The state needs help.
The state, yeah. Okay, that's a different topic. Okay. Anything else on 11.2?
I just wanted to make sure your initial proposal was for the upcoming budget.
For this budget we're in right now, yes, was the $1 an hour.
Okay. So are you backing off on that now, or?
No, we're staying with that. That's in the budget that's able to be maintained. This would be for maybe next year, year after.
$1 an hour above what you're making now, what you put in.
They're making 10, we asked for $1 an hour for this year, so effective 1/1/2020.
I thought I might have misunderstood you when you talked about the budget. I thought maybe you were waiting till the next budget.
No, we'll look to see if we can increase it again at the next budget.
Yeah, Mayor, Councilor Edmonds, I remember we approved the $1 an hour last, because it was in your budget.
Yeah, you asked for a more consistent raise for the firefighters because it had been so long, and for comparison, so.
It was like 2007 or something like that.
6.
Or 6?
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment too that that's very helpful to see something like this in black and white. With that $1 increase, we're in the ballpark here,
Yeah,
from what I can see.
Kind of all over the board on how different fire departments pay, but yeah, we're not too far off.
Yeah, but it'll be real helpful when we do budget.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And going back, you're gonna wake up in a couple weeks, it'll be March already.
I'm looking for June and July.
Okay, well, it's almost there, it's not quite. Okay. Anything else, 11.2? 11.3, public safety building, public safety building, storage building, page 34. Well, I had asked that, did you go up the map? Do you still have the map?
I do.
Could you slide that over here? Well, I had asked at the last meeting that we were at to work on the number, this item, because I wanted to readjust it, figuring on this maps adjustment of it. And so when I had looked, I'm going to share this with Councilor Zimmer. But when I had looked at this, I know that there was a culvert coming through on the back here. I was hoping that instead of this one parcel and this process working, that instead of being 6.5 acres, it might be 6.25 acres and going back across the line on the.
Would you like me to put it on the screen?
Oh, yeah, you could do that. That way you can kind of see what 6.5 is. And I had also, I was down in the Zimmerman Fire Department today, and my concern for the council is just more or less that we don't end up boxing ourselves in to the Zimmerman Fire Department where the come through, where you have space to go back to. And that's why my concern on making sure that we place this in the correct spot will be for the long haul or for the community going forward. And so where you see the, where it says 6.5 acres and there's those 3 trees, yep, come back to the right, there you go, Bob. I know that you had said that there was a culvert there, and instead of going to that, I would like to redraw that line around those trees and put over the, yep, right there you go. Yep.
And then square this off.
So that way, in my thought process, what I had said was that in the case that the public safety building has to be increased or changed in size, that we would have more additional space there. And that's why I said, you know, rough estimate would be 6.25 acres of that lot, and then have the ability later to be able to grow to the west for the building or the buildings if you had a separate building from there.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I think that for Ron and myself, it's just a matter of keeping that close proximity to our building. So, you know, whatever the council wishes in regards to location is really good with us as long as we have that quick access to it. And we can.
If this is where you're considering, Mr. Mayor, you know, we're okay with that because it's quick to us.
Yeah.
We just didn't figure in any prices for additional tar or culverts to cross over that.
Yes, right, and so if you look at where I had said, you know, I've got this part right here, but if I come down, you know, it would be bringing this lot line back down here, and so we'd be able to access this space for this part of the building, and in the future, if we had another building that would get put in this area here, you know what I'm saying, because we'd be accessing the parking lot here, being able to drive a fire truck in and through the building, and then back around and through the process, and then back to the next building. It's just, it's too tight at the Zimmerman Fire Department to be able to do that, and so with this forward thinking, I think that, do you see my finger? I was in the way when you're doing. You see what I was doing. But I'm saying that the forward thinking of this process, we'll have ourselves, you know, more area, unless you think fire trucks in the future are gonna get significantly bigger and not be able to make that turn, which
No, I don't think that. We just wanted to make sure you were aware of the costs that we presented for that $225,000 was where we had proposed. So if you move it to the west, the culvert, the dirt, the landscaping would probably be more and adding tar to that. And that's something we didn't need to include on our first price.
Right.
Well, and I think there was some, what's the proper word, the culvert. We probably would have to look into just that, help me out, culvert disruption piece if we do have to do something. But again, we can certainly research that west lot as quick as possible, just because obviously there is a time piece behind this that we need to kind of get scooting on.
Right. And lucky for us, we know the permanent zoning person, Councilor Reynolds, he will make that all happen at Planning Commission for us.
Well, that is just the fact that I know, like in discussions we've had with contractors, they're starting to set their schedules, and so, you know, for sure one of them is like, you know, we need to get on the schedule.
Right. So, and I think that if we were able to go out there in the next week, kind of get a better idea of what's at stake, so I think that would kind of be beneficial for the council and to go through that. Because we will still be able to, you know, the way this is going now, we should be able to make all this work.
I meant to use cones, so I don't know if we're gonna.
Cones, yep, maybe use cones, maybe use cones, that's what I meant for that.
Mayor, council, just so we remember, they have a quote for $225,000 to build a building north of the public safety building.
Yep.
So a lot of it is going to be depending on how much more is this additional cost going to be. You know, I mean, what's that culvert going to cost? The additional blacktop and all of those sort of things too.
And I think that comes down to the process. You know, you're investing in the future by building this building, and the building, you know, from the insurance money, using it correctly will be the benefit for the future. So that way we're not, you know, I don't want to bring up any sore subjects, but that way we're not asking for money and doing it this year, and then 3 years from now, we're back asking for more money.
So Mayor and Council members, if I could, perhaps we can do a little bit more research, and then we can keep in mind the timing issues that was mentioned by the chief, and bring it back to the council in a couple of weeks or so.
Yep.
Bring more information.
No, this is contingent on us purchasing that property, right?
Correct.
So, but that's not done yet, and I hope it will, don't get me wrong. Extra, excavating or landscaping, let's call it. Can our public works department absorb some of that?
Some, with the culvert, question comes in, design with accessibility. There's a lot of questions that we need to,
Yeah, just throw it out there.
some we could.
Would it be possible to approve now the building of it and, the location at a later point so that he could get bids and on the schedule? Is that a possibility? Is that desirable, do you feel, or?
I think what we had laid out in the memo that was, I don't know if it has all the information, that was to start the site plan so that that could be set into an approval, which takes topography, grades, and things such as that. That was the first step that we laid out. I think the supervisors are encouraged to hear the support. Chief, do you have?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I think that in having discussions with the electricians and the contractors and all that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think with the site plan, we're gonna need to have some sort of a plan, so to speak, of a building. So if that's something that, eventually we can do within the next couple of meetings to be able to have those conversations with the contractors, to come back to you guys with, here's the cost and which quote would you want us to go with, so to speak, I think would be helpful.
Yeah, and for me, I'm fully supportive of the process. I'm really supportive of it. We'll make worse to the best of the building. Really supportive. Whatever it takes, because that's where it's going to...
And we're okay with that, just the additional cost, and we didn't count for that.
So you're going to have to find us some money.
Yep, it's always about that. We'll work on that too. 11.4, the RFP for Riverside Reedy Park improvements. Any questions on this part here, or the updated, what I think you're going to give us on this? Page 39.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Ms. Hillesheim requested last month to go out for proposals for RFPs for engineering firms. We received 2 quotes, 2 bids for the work. They're very concise as to what they will offer. Staff has reviewed them in depth, and at this point we're looking for council recommendation, or recommending council for approval for Warren White to do the engineering for this project to see out the grant process for Riverside Park.
This might sound like a off-beat question. Have we worked with them before?
We have, Mr. White was actually very intuitive and helpful with the fishing pier, and very giving on his time that was not always billed.
Wishes of the council.
Well, obviously, you get almost $30,000 savings there, it looks like to me, but I'm reading something wrong.
Well, part of the savings.
Pretty hard to say no to that.
Mr. White is, part of his is the grading, the staking for the grading. A lot of the surveying work is included in his bid, where WSB is by the yes.
And I would segue off from there. Are we confident that these people are, because I would compare apples to apples, I guess, maybe it's.
When we looked at what he has done in the past, he's done same or similar projects, not too far from here, near Hudson, Stillwater, on St. Croix. He's worked on the water, he has river experience.
I mean, I trust you guys, don't get me wrong, but I
understand, sir.
Well, Jen's not here, certainly don't want to alienate WSB if we could help it, but.
But it was the request was made and it was.
So it's fair. It's an open process. And they couldn't match it, so.
Okay, wishes of council to approve Mr. White.
I'll make a motion to approve White Interpol, or whatever it's called.
Not second.
I got a motion, I got a second, further discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. 5-0. Number 12, 12.1, approved public works CIP pickup truck purchase, 66, page 66 of the packet.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is a piece of equipment that has been in the CIP that was approved. Basically, just looking for council approval to go with the lowest bid with Princeton Auto for the purchase of a new vehicle for public works. And disposition of the old one.
If I'm reading it right, looked like Princeton Auto really stepped up. I just to try to get our business and keep it local. And I commend them for that.
And they've done that consistently with us.
Thanks. I make a motion to approve the new pickup truck for public works from Princeton Auto Center for $30,523.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second, and then in the second part of this, the disposition of the old truck, the staff, city member will be purchasing that through the auction process.
That it can be in the motion.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it friendly? Do you take the friendly?
Sure.
I got a motion, I got a second, I got a friendly. Clerk's got all of that. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Number 12, very important. 12.2, appointment of the election judges, page 72.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, these are the applicants that I have received applications for and training times and everything. So for right now, these are what we're looking at for the March presidential primary.
And if I could relate, and then August, we're going to do this again with August.
Yeah, there'll be some additional.
Additional ones are changes, okay. Wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of the following people as elected judges.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's 5-0.
Mayor, if I could, I think as I was going over with the clerk, the future election, we are looking for a couple more judges, so if there's people who are interested, please contact City Hall.
Okay, number 12.3, emergency operations purchase request, page 73 of the packet of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, your emergency management team, Bob, Todd, and myself, have been looking at ways to improve our EOC. We've looked at the items listed before you, cabinets, countertops, printers, stuff like that. We can purchase that with our rep funds, our relocation funds. It has been approved by them. This won't come out of our budget. As city budget, it'll come out of the rep budget. These upgrades would benefit not just fire, but police, public works, the city in a time of a crisis or a disaster. We'd be working out of there. We do have bids on most of it. We're ready to purchase. We're waiting for one more bid for the cabinets and countertops, but the three of us have really put some time and effort into this. If we don't use this money by rep, we lose it, so that's why we're kind of getting it done now. By June 30th, if we haven't used it, we lose it. So we figured about $12,000 to purchase all of this and installation, and we will still have money left over after that to look at maybe some further upgrades.
Culvert?
I will check with them and see if they'll cover a culvert.
Wishes of the council?
I move to approve the request from Fire Chief.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's 5-0. Okay, 12.4, approve the sale of wastewater treatment old mower at public auction.
With the purchase of our new mower last year, we're looking for approval to sell the old mower, which was served its purpose.
Wishes of the council to sell it to someone other than that sits on the city council at a public auction.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
That was a trick question.
No, it's not a trick question, motion carries 5-0. Wastewater treatment replacement for the roof, 12.5.
Last year we had a couple of leaks that we had fixed, and when they were fixing the leaks, they said that the roof needed to be replaced. They're 20-plus years old. We got 2 quotes. One was for 1 building and one was for 2 buildings, and if you can see that the 2 building is way cheaper than the 1 building, so that's who I would like to have do it.
And if I could just defer, have we worked with Clearview Construction in the past?
They patched the patch this summer for a lot cheaper than that other company.
Great news. Okay, wishes the council to approve $35,782.22.
Make a motion.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-1. Okay, moving on to page 2. 13, the bill list, page 81.
You want me to read it? Or, you good? I move to approve the bill list, which includes the manual checks as listed on the manual bill list for a total of $233,021.59. And the items listed on the liquor bill list and general city bill list, which will be checks 80663 to 80757 for a total of $296,733.25.
Can I get a second? Second. Motion second, further discussion on the bill list. Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to number 14. 14 is miscellaneous. Need a motion for number 16 to adjourn. I have a motion, do I have a second? I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're adjourned at 8 o'clock exactly.